Hi, everybody. My name's Judy, and I run Quiet Year Records. Grim Year Wednesdays is a collaborative effort between us, and Grimalkin Records, talking to some creative people about what's going on. And while we're here, hopefully, y'all will be able to donate to Virginia Anti-Violence Project, who serves the LGBTQIA plus community here in Richmond. Particularly survivors of violence. I will also say becoming a recurring donor is really awesome, just because it's like reliable and it's a good way to like help out on a long-term basis or on like a long-term scale. So I highly encourage that. But today we have Jackie from Lunch and who does sound engineering amongst many other things, and Fred, who is a musician, performer, visual artist, internet troll, etc. So thank y'all for being here. Jackie, hello.
Hey,
How are you doing?
doing pretty all right. It's a crazy freaking time out there, but I'm holding up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What's something interesting you've done today? Have you done anything interesting
Oh God.
yet?
I actually, I have done something interesting today. I This morning I met with one of the owners of this one of the main studio that I work at, and we're talking about like rolling out this plan we've been working on for a while, which is like an actual like paid internship position, specifically for like queer, trans, POC folks. And yeah, it's like it's been a long time coming. Like started as an unpaid intern there, and that's the only intern position is unpaid currently. So trying to change that, which would be cool.
Yeah. Are you talking about at Headroom?
Hmm.
Could you tell us like a little bit about what you do there and what that is?
Totally. So at Headroom, I'm like one of the staff engineers, which means sometimes it's just like um, basically like renting the space and bringing in clients who like bands who I know or have found on my own, and just like running a whole session of like producing, engineering, and recording everything. And sometimes it also means like assisting for other sessions, and yeah, like doing recording work so that somebody else can just be producing and stuff like that.
That's really awesome. So what I'm hearing is that you're involved in the process of like find or I guess like being on the lookout for people who may be interested in using like the recording studio services. Um, that's really cool that y'all cater to like the different people that you're working with. Because it sounds like it's like a really, I want to say like collaborative process.
Hmm.
Whereas like, I mean, I think of more when I think of like recording studios, it's just like, I don't know, it's just a business, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I mean, not that it's like not, but
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I've worked in a few different recording studios, and definitely people have different mentalities about it. And I mean, even within Headroom, there's like a handful of engineers who I've worked with, all of them, and like they all have slightly different mentalities about things. And my mentality has definitely always been like it should be a collaboration. Like it's the whole point is that it's like the artist's music. Whoever is like coming to record, it's like ultimately their music and their project. And like I like hope in the best case scenario I can be like a really fun and like inspiring and like great collaborator to like help make somebody's dreams and visions come true. Um, but yeah, I think it has to be a collaboration to be good, you know.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's like a stereotype of, and not saying like this is like happening where you work or anything like that, but like a stereotype of like sound bros and like sound engineers who just like talk down to people and won't take,
Yes.
people seriously and kind of have that whole like, I don't know if it's like rude to say like a little bit of an elitist mindset, but it's just like, hey, I'm like trying to like perform here and you're supposed to be helping me, but at the same, and things like that. And so I feel like, I mean, you being there with that kind of mindset is a way to kind of address that.
Yeah, I definitely. And I mean, I've like run into and combated those sound bros my whole freaking life, as long as I've
Mhm.
done music and tech stuff. And yeah, it's definitely like a prevalent mindset in a lot of spaces. I even think like, I don't know if I should say this, but I even think like at the studios I've worked at, people have like come a long way since I've even like from my beginning of being there to like where we are now. Like I think I've seen a lot of changes in that mindset too. Um, yeah, I've like encountered that before myself and like witnessed it happening, and I've also like yeah, experienced like working with artists who are, I mean, it's so common working with artists, especially artists who are not cis white dudes who are like, wow, this is so much better than like than like my last experience. Like, wow, I don't feel like I feel like I have agency over this, and I don't feel like somebody is like trying to mystify the process from me. Um, I always like, especially when it's like not cis men that I'm working with, like I try and really like be there if somebody seems curious or like wants to talk about the gear, wants to like know how something is working. I try and like really engage with that and like take the time to explore that together.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that's a pretty intimate relationship to have with the artist that you're working with because that's, their baby. But
Hmm.
you're being like kind of led into that process. And so, I mean, it's great to hear that you're someone who will collaborate in like a meaningful and like respectful way as opposed to I don't know. I mean, yeah, I feel like every like marginalized person, every person has had like a weird experience during either like recording or performing or just like any step of the way. And so, yeah, yeah, that's really cool. You were talking about how like things have come a long way over time. What's the like kind of general like climate, I guess, of like the recording world? Because I'm not like involved in that at all. Does that make sense?
It's like I mean it's still like incredibly white cis het dude like focused. Like that those are the people running a lot of the studios and a lot of just like calling the shots in a lot of these situations. And I mean, yeah, unfortunately, like I've never worked in a studio that hasn't been owned and run by a white cis man. Yeah, they're hard to come by. And even like a lot of the people I work with in Philly, um, like I just, it's hard to come by people who are not of that identity, especially when you're looking at like more established professional positions. Like I now have a much like super grateful community of people who are like actively not that and in audio and tech, and we're trying to like build that community and work together. But it is still like, I guess, annoying in a way to see how like a lot of those people, even though I think they're super qualified and good at what they do, are not in professional positions for their work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're involved in a lot of different levels of that. For example, like, yes, working at the studio, but then also kind of backtracking from that, is doing home recording, which is actually something that I found really, really helpful for me because I attended your Girls Rock workshop on home recording and like tips and tricks for that. And I thought that was really great. And the way that you were talking about it was very like laying things out step by step, just defining terms as they come along instead of like me feeling like I have to feel uncomfortable about asking what something means that might feel like basic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really helpful. Could you like give a little, I don't know, I was gonna say like a little blurb about like your thoughts on like home recording?
Yeah, totally. I'm very passionate about home recording, and yeah, and like Girls Rock as an amazing community too. Um, but yeah, I mean, home recording is so amazing, like especially nowadays, you can just like you can do so much with it. Like you can really make a super professional, cool sounding thing just from your bedroom. And I mean, in a time like COVID, it's just so important. And it's interesting because like I don't know, I love it and I love the like DIY nature of it and all of that. And I still like hit a wall with home recording, less so in like what's possible sonically, but more so in like the creative collaboration space. Like obviously you can still collaborate in a home recording setting, but it's harder now in COVID. And I like that is a thing that I think is so important in any process is just like having somebody to work with and like having a fresh perspective and somebody to like bounce ideas off of.
Mm-hmm.
So I do miss that in like solitary home recording, but I think home recording itself is like such a powerful, incredible tool.
Yeah, for sure. And I think home recording in the ways that you've handled it have really taken into consideration like accessibility, which I think is really important to be talking about. So like what kinds of issues in accessibility are there in recording?
Whew, again, it's bad. I mean,
I mean,
yeah, recording gear is so expensive, and especially if you want to be like quote unquote like competitive on a professional level, the expectations of like what gear you have in your studio or whatever setup is like it's wild. It's so insane. So I I do think like yeah, the accessibility of home recording is huge, and it also pushes creativity in a cool way. Like, I've just heard so many amazing things that have been done with like a really small setup or in a bedroom with like, yeah, very little that still sound amazing and are like not only like to me sound professional, but also just like maybe sound interesting in a way that a like full on studio setup might not have made the same decisions or like yeah chosen the same sounds.
yeah. I mean, I think bedroom pop was a big thing for a while. And I thought that was like a really great introduction into home recording and being able to like self-produce and stuff like that. And it also became part of the aesthetic is the quality of it and like
Right.
exploring that and like, people like being like, oh yeah, I just played this through in one take in the forest or, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, that's like, it's so important to have that creative like process and spontaneity. And I like, even in the professional studio setting, I really try and like embrace that too. Like, even with all the gear at our fingertips, like, I think it's important to like make those spontaneous, like weird decisions and be like, well, this sounds kind of crazy, but like, let's go with it instead of trying to get like the right sound or like the most pristine, clear sound we can. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. And I feel like being involved in the recording process is another, I guess that's like another instrument to take into account.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like the stuff that you're going to use and the ways that you use them, like if they, if they affect the recordings, then I mean that's a part of it.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. Yeah, that's why I mean, it's interesting like I feel like in this time I've watched like so many recording videos with like the big recording folks and a lot of people eventually over time like develop a sound and develop a certain way of doing things that's kind of unique to them, which I think has a lot of value as well. But I feel like for me, especially right now, like I just love like trying things out and I love to just be like, well, I learned like this weird, cool drum recording setup. Like, let's try it. Let's like see what we get. And yeah, sort of, right, using the studio as like, how can we curate like what we have to better like express the message that we want to express.
Yeah, that's amazing. Um, if you had to like tell anybody like one thing for like here's how to make your recording sound better, like one thing, maybe two, up to you. But like top things to like that are like crucial to know, like what advice would you give?
That's so hard. That's my mind just like popped in like a million different ways.
Yeah,
Because it depends on the kind of music you're making and it
true.
depends on a few different things. But um man, what is a good answer for this? I guess like one thing is if you're making pop music, just like turn the vocal up. Um People love that. And it usually instantly, even if like you're making something that you wouldn't define the other music, the other sounds as pop, like if you turn the vocal up really loud, it instantly sounds like pop. Um, and then what's another thing? I mean, I guess the other big thing for any recording situation is check your phase, which is like most
Face?
your your check your face. Check your phase. PHASE.
Oh.
Um, um, yeah. Um, and I guess quickly what that means is like every sound coming in has this like wavelength, and you can flip it in space. I don't know if that's really the right term to say in space, but you can flip it vertically over an axis. Um, and the way frequencies line up, um, they will complement or change or detract from each other's sound. So if you have multiple microphones going in a room at the same time when you're recording things, just like flip your phase button, which you can find in digital things and sometimes you can find on your analog gear, but any digital workstation will have a phase flip somewhere. And if you flip it, like something that you might think sounded like bad or weird might suddenly sound like totally clear and fine.
Dang. Okay, I need to write those down.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you
totally.
for the advice on that.
Yeah,
Could I ask like one more, maybe one more, two more
sure.
questions? Yeah. Um, so the first question is, I guess like a two-part question.
Mhm.
So, what do you envision for the future, or what do you want to stick around?
Hmm.
And none of this has to be like rooted in reality, if that makes sense.
Okay, cool. Um, I mean, for the future, I certainly like want to see a massive change in like the face of recording and audio tech. Like, I just want the white cis dudes to be out of it or like significantly less. And yeah, I just want to see it like become a place where people of vastly expansive identities can like flourish and hold space for each other and collaborate. Um, yeah. Does that answer the question? What was there another
Yeah.
part?
I think the other part was, well, yeah, the first part was just like, what do you want to see in the future? And then the second part was like, what's something that you want to like stick around?
Mm. Yeah, I guess like in a more in a totally other end of like recording politics, like I definitely want analog gear to stick around. And I know that's controversial because it can be expensive, but it also cannot be expensive.
What do you
And
mean by analog gear?
I mean, like non-digital stuff specifically in terms of like preamps and
Mm,
compressors and consoles, and also like tape recording.
mm, hmm.
And I think like analog gear, where it can be like a huge accessible barrier, also like it doesn't always have to be like you see people making really sick music on just like 4 tracks, which is completely analog,
Mm, okay.
and can be really accessible. But I don't think we will ever like fully phase out analog gear, but people are getting better and better at modeling it digitally.
Hmm.
And I do think like working physically with machines is a cool thing. And I really enjoy that part of recording.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people still listen to records, so
Right.
yeah, I mean, there's still some things that I feel like people still appreciate about analog that just can't be replaced by other things.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Is there any particular ways that we can support you or you want support for?
Well, I would say for the most part, there's a lot of other rad things going on in the world that need support. And
Mhm.
the best way, honestly, to support me would just be like if people are looking for somebody to record with or like mix remotely or just like collaborate with musically, like I love to, yeah, I just love to do that. So share my name for those kinds of things. But yeah, otherwise, give your money to these good causes, such as the, what's it called? The Virginia Anti-Violence Set? Yeah.
Project, yeah. I wanted to
Yes.
see if you'd get there, but
Yes.
yeah, Virginia
So,
Anti-Violence Project. And I'm also gonna just go ahead and throw out Girls Rock in there too, because they're also just always doing really great stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, is there anything that you might want to like add or like throw out there?
I think that pretty much covers it, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you for talking about all of this on the show and for being here and for all the work that you do to make these things more accessible.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. So just as a brief transition, there we go. That's the word for it. This is Grim Year Wednesdays, collaborative effort between Quiet Year Records and Grimalkin Records. Both of us have Patreons. The artists on the show get paid for their work. So that's just kind of where the money setup is. But we would definitely really like you to donate to Virginia Anti-Violence Project, who does a lot of great work serving the LGBTQIA plus communities, and survivors of violence here in Richmond and also across Virginia. So they do a lot of great work. Yeah, please check them out. So that was Jackie from Lunch and Heaven Studios and Girls Rock and The World. And now we're gonna talk to Fred, who is Fred. Hi, Fred.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How's it going?
I'm
Sorry,
good.
the light was harsh and it like makes me look kind of funny, like I'm like blurred out like anonymously. How's it going?
Yeah, no, you look like anonymous right now.
Is this
Uh,
fine?
I mean, sure.
I mean,
Sure.
I mean the light was just really harsh. I didn't think it would turn out like this.
When you took off the glasses, it got worse. I
Just
can't
because
see
you
your,
can see my smile.
I can only see your smile.
Okay, let me do the glasses. I feel like I look okay.
Yeah, you're like what's his face, Morpheus
Oh my
or like
god, yeah,
Neo.
let's go
You
with it.
you just look like the entire movie Matrix right now.
Okay, excellent.
Oh my god. I mean, sure, whatever you want, but you're gonna do a performance for us, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. I
Oh, we're
can.
going straight into the. Okay, let's do it.
I
I
mean,
thought.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm. If you guys are ready, I'm ready.
Wait, wait. Okay, I'm ready.
Wait, what's up?
I'm just kidding. I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. Um, all right. My name is Fred. I go by the name Alfred. Shout out to Quiet Your Records and shout out to Grimalkin Records for putting this together. Very excited to play a couple songs for you guys. And yeah, thank you, Jackie, for sharing. Yeah, all right. Back and forth, like I'm looking something for the simple decisions on my soul. Back and forth, pacing like mine. You just know I adore you. You were waiting up the corner. Baby, I know you're afraid. Oh, you know that I adore you. Not the way that I enjoy you. Don't take up my space and my time. My time, now the way that I enjoy you, back and forth pacing like blind. Now I'm cooking something for you, simple expressions on mine, back and forth pacing like blind. Know how to enjoy you. Sound alright? Yeah. Perfect. Yo, wake the fuck up, bitch. Sit the fuck down. Grow the fuck up. Yeah, shut the fuck up. I'm at the crossroads of Eaton and Seneca, asking what the fuck the cosmos got me channeling. I don't get homesick much, but there's something in my gut. Got me sending much love to the family. Same shit. Person in the mirror is the hardest one that will ridicule. Funny, the little one starts to mimic you. Vice versa, swear I get my niece on a verse when the time is right. And I get my money straight. Virgo is my moon, I'm very picky, don't take it personally. I see refinement and intention in some purpose, my G. I live by nature, but nurture just seem to hurt me the most. To be the loneliest bitches is just be doing the most. I'd play ghost if I was good at being quiet. I'd make a toast if my eyes wasn't so spiteful. I'd say what's up if bitches weren't so disrespectful. Always. I'm trying to work out where I'm placing my projection. You should. I'm at the crossroads of Eaton and Seneca, asking what the fuck the cosmos got me channeling. Wish I didn't speak these days, but either way, my friends are growing tired of the fooling dogs and rambling. I'm out here dying from my heart. Still don't give a fuck. Yeah, tell them it's a rap like it's a bite in the ankle. Taking beverage to the head like I was shot with a ray gun. I could improve upon my health, but I can't cut out the bacon. To live the life I'm looking for, I probably gotta fake it. It's not deplorable, I'm loving the non-divine beings reaching for the purpose just as I'm a blemish, I'm a mud, I'm a run, I'm the flower in the pavement, I'm the bubble in your gut. The middle ugly shell and care of the earth. Hopefully by then everybody's gonna hint you the word, the girth, the weight, the words, the learns, the lessons that stay into the voice is a superpower. And I believe that shit. Fuck kneeling for someone's money. In a few months I'll hop up like a score bunny. Coming at me sideways, but in real life it's all smiles. I can play the game two-faced too, like I'm all wild. Then I'll let you rip. In a verse two, I use the word to curse. Less talk, more push, all pull, no you. I'm a breath of fresh air. I'm the clockest you sink. I don't think I drink sick to kill the edge. No clippers, just a nappy nigga trying to freak the fit. On the weekend, with a 20 in the jacket. With my niggas, I'm got a bagel sandwich, cause you know my niggas ugly niggas like my fucking anthem is. Talking Venus fly traps, dust mites, and tarantulas. I'm just showing who I am. All that other shit's spam. I'm eating rice in my hands like my mama do. My eggs fried and everything. I'm talking omelets, been flipped out and I've been ripped off, and my niggas they have been kicked over. Bitch up on both shoulders, they will manipulate. People will mimic tropes. I'm giving my friends hope. Yeah, I'm giving my friends hope. Yeah, I'm giving my friends hope. I'm giving my friends hope. I'm giving out. Why they always trying to knock the dreamer? Kiss goodbye to the dream team. Friendships are tearing at the seams. Some of my niggas are getting seasoned. Salty, savor. Tell me what's the flavor of my dick in your mouth with my back turned away, y'all. Number one player. Got praise for days and I never hesitate. It's just a straight boy slayer. Everybody like me till I focus. I wrote this for my sanity. I wrote this shit for Logan. I have to switch my focus. Niggas been in their feelings for more than 4 months. Bargaining with the gods, singing chants, sipping potions. Bargaining with the gods, singing chants, sipping potions. I'm bargaining with the gods. Yo, pass the coat when I make a toaster, cause the closet could not hold us. No food in my clothes or the paper that I own, cause I don't got a lot. Bitches lay on the pavement, all my bitches is depressed. Compensation make me anxious. Hopscotch on time's payment, you can't box me in. Unless we're talking soapboxes, then I talk my shit. Rapping my fucking ass off, probably dropping shit. Nigga, fuck that shit you niggas thinking. I'm on the brink, I barely scratched the surface and broke a nail. Just to perfect the craft. If you respect it, the city's slacking. If bitches know that Fred word, that's been the meanest word I made it, please believe it. I'm just trying to get free. This for my nieces and my nephews, crafting mac and cheese. And for my niggas that be passing up peace. And I'm just trying to get free. And I'm just trying to get free. This time I do it for me. This time I do it for me. And I'm bringing it to you. We good? Sound good. Word. Soon I'm asked to dust Cheetos on my finger. When I grab the money, grip the paper like a kingler. Multifaceted, I did a ton of shit and then some. Quoting my niggas, rap verses all in the addendum. What is your agenda? Baby, what's your motive? You like the idea of who I am, but not the closeness. Motherfuckers, posers, bullshit to the ankles. Smile right in your face, but in your soul, I'm still a stranger. I'm anxious, bitch, hip-hop is to be my supermarket, and I carried out the basket full of your half-baked pardons. Relax, Freddy Cranky. Why I get so critical? I'm just like my mama's, both a C-sect and adoption. I'm a fucking problem. Niggas love tradition. Clinging to the structure of your OGs won't be holding me back. Make sure to compensate in areas where the confidence lack. Feeling like Popeye out the drive-thru, strength to pick up the slack. Yeah, you ain't even try. You just sat along your ass and bit about like little flies. You can all butter me tender, I can still see through the lies. These niggas love to see me stress, these niggas love to waste my time. These niggas love to waste my time. These niggas love to waste my time. Yeah, you love to see me stress. These niggas really wanna waste ya. Every day I get high, dream of fading everybody. This is bitter power for me, I'm living for nobody. My body barely acquaintance, I gave some people my patience. They flawlessly disappoint me, I put my faith in the music. See your point of view, the fuck all in my opinions, my nigga. I'm out the window, I'm out the window with my minions, my nigga. I'm fucking snapping, you lost honor of fits. Yeah, just all this poison, give a fuck if I might miss you, my nigga. What's up? Yeah, cause I love more shit apart. 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 Cause I have bullshit apart. Cause I have bullshit apart. Cause fire bullshit's upon me. Cause fire bullshit's upon me. It's Freddie. It's Freddie. It's Freddie. It's Freddie. Whoa. What do we need today? Peace of mind in my name. Hope what we speak is power. All that we live is gain. Delvin won't smoke no games. Simulate. Still trying to get down with my niggas. Still boogie for sure, May. Shoulder got cold sorbet. They all want me to be paid. I say that ain't the deal. Came out the womb hard-headed. So fuck your etiquette and sentences. Whatever brought you to the point of feeling elephant. I'm working on getting centered. I'll grow my garden, etc. And Freddy's down to earth like all them worms do. Double up, overheating, so I bubble up. Getting sweat inside my wounds. The day drops to stand in silence by the tomb. Watching the people simulate inside the room. I lost my marbles, probably thinking about you. Simulating inside the room. I lost my mind, I'm probably thinking about you. And I probably lost my mind for trying to reach for highs of truth. Senses heightened, psilocybin, DMT, and weed for two. I won't assimilate with you. I've been a victim, here's a proof. As we go on, I'm getting sicker. I'm chasing liquor with my food. Marble fixtures in the room. My weed be smelling like the zoo. Shit, you're jealous that I'm zealous. With my messages, who are you? You cannot define the shit I'm living in. They drop their guns to Richmond. You're not fixing shit, you're fools. The fuck is wrong with all you dudes? For those who hope I rhyme for you. Fuck the opposition, okay? Okay, smoke in my bag. Yeah, okay, Alfred, okay, I've got so much for that ass. The action's where we're at, and this is all that I've had. It happened so fast. Like magic, no stab, please just handle your task. And stay out of my business before I take off my mask. I chuckle at this shit you tried to pull it so sad. I came to you with nothing but the me that you stabbed. You open fire on me when all this shit get too bad. You know your spot, your place. Party, I probably crashed it. I probably drank up the wine. I hope I'm acting an asshole. I think your taste is poor. I try to come off as bashful. Go ahead, make that face. Go ahead and scrunch it up at me. Bitch, my name is Alfred. I dreamt of swimming in cash flow. But the money is evil. But I would like some bread to stack on. Looking like a snack from the iPad. Niggas drop the ball when I call you. Sounded like my mama. Ow. Sound alright? Yo, cool. I'm almost done. I bet you get yourself. Alright. But all I ever hear is ooh, give me your car keys. We have to go cop the rental. Get it popping like pimples. Know that writing the blueprint is simpler with the pencil. I'm cooler when I show dimples. I'm not accustomed to printing. Probably call a shawty at every car I get into. I'm intimate with my words. Pillow talks, they be fake. Kissing me all on the rooftop cause you know I have faces. And I'm not talking insurance. I've got to make major papers. Moving through these moving rooms that I filled up brims with these paintings all in my head. All in my head, 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 all in my head. My name is Fred. Hello. Yes. All in my head. All in my head, all in my head, all in my head. All in my head, all in my head, all in my head. All in my head, all in my head, all in my head. Hello. It's no good picking indoor. Inhale and hold till I'm centered. I'm flipping the pages of paper to etch my sigil in the grimoire. I hear you talking, bitch, do shit. Switched it up on the fam just to remind and redefine who I am. He was a fan, he brought me warm. He gave me head, he had to give me heart and blood. I let these niggas know ahead I'm sensitive. I guess I ain't changed. I'm still in my brain, trying to picture pain. Back on my bullshit. All in my head, all in my head, all in my head. All in my head, all in my head, all in my head. I am the blemish, I'm the mud, I am the runt. Okay. Oh, nah. The collective conscience is a bitch on God. Trying to make these bitches sweat like me. Oh my. Somebody please give me some peace for my mind. Oh nah. The collective conscience is a bitch on God. Trying to make these bitches sweat like me. Oh my. Somebody please give me some peace for my mind. Oh nah, look, electric conscience is the big joint god. Trying to make these bitches sweat like me, oh my. Somebody please give me some peace for my mind. And I slip it, I'm like, oh my god. Freddy braggadocious, son, these niggas no raw. Smoking comatose until I feel it no more. Next time if you fucking up the floor, you might just wake up on the floor. Yeah, I don't wanna sleep, I don't wanna wake. Always caught in betweens, getting kinda real. You're acting kinda fake. I'ma get a little mean. Give me peace of mind. Give a little fight. I'm trying to give my niggas hope. Running out of time. And I'm trying to give a fuck. You made it clear that you don't. I gotta get a grip. I think I'm losing my mind. And I mean what I'm saying. I don't wanna sleep. And I don't wanna wake. Always caught in betweens, getting kinda real. You're acting kinda fake, so I'm gonna get a little mean. Give me peace of mind, give a little light. Trying to give my niggas hope, running out of time. Trying to give a fuck. You make it clear that you don't. You gotta get a grip. Think I'm losing my mind. Man, for the longest time, I envied humans who hid and rejoiced in their own bodies with confidence. I don't think I've ever known that luxury. My body and I are barely acquaintances. Every night, I watch my skin eat itself to remind me that I could feel. And every morning, I witnessed the meal that I became for the dark. So, if I could leave this shell of myself without the help of death, I would. If I could abandon our humanity to be bigger than anything that you've ever dreamt of becoming, I would. Because for the longest time, I wasted my days envying God. Ooh, it's getting kinda real. You're acting kinda fake. Ooh. Give me peace of mind. Give a little light. Trying to give my niggas hope. I'm running out of time. I'm trying to give a fuck. You make it clear that you don't. I don't wanna sleep, I don't wanna wake. Caught in between, it's getting kinda real. You're acting kinda fake. You can give me peace of mind, you can give a little light. Trying to give my niggas hope, trying to give my niggas hope, trying to give my niggas hope.
I finally know what you remind me. You remind me of the
That's
yeah.
My name's Alfred, y'all. Thank you for chilling with me. My superpower's keeping red apples hanging from the garden. I stand like the trees alone. I don't wanna run no more. This isn't fun. Arguments still is misconstrued. Your two arms don't keep me safe. I just wanna be high and dry. I don't belong on this planet. So roll up the fence, or all about 10 excuse some beginning. Waking up to open skylights, the devil smile. You fertilize to fuck the flower, fuck to fertilize. Shit on my garden of Eden. All your bullshit's abundant, abundant. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Superpowers keeping red apples hanging from the garden. I stand in the trees alone.
I don't wanna run no more. That's my set. Yeah, thanks. Woo, it was hot.
Woo!
Hot.
No, that was great.
Thanks.
How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm good. I'm chilling. A little sweaty, but it's a little elbow. What's a little elbow grease,
Yeah. Sorry, no, that's just so fun. It's a little elbow grease. It's fine.
What's it to you?
How's your day been though?
My day has been pretty lax, honestly. I've been like trying to rest because I keep on thinking I do this thing that I'm resting. Oh, the mic is here. I keep on doing this thing that I'm resting. You can still hear me, right? From over here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep on doing this thing where I think I'm like resting, but then like I'm still like actively like doing something at home. So I think like yesterday I just slept all day, and like today I like ran errands with a friend, which was nice.
Oh wait, actually you are gonna kind of getting quiet. Would you mind
Yep. Here.
bring the mic over a little bit?
Right here. Hello.
Oh, there we go. Yay. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that last thing that you said?
Kaboom. Yeah, no. I was just saying that I have been trying to rest for like the past like month, and I think that I'm doing it because like I'm like not working, but I'm not because I'm still like doing other things. So yesterday I just slept all day, and today I ran errands with a friend, and it was just like wasn't really like a goal oriented day. So it's pretty nice. Got to perform. I haven't done that in a little bit. It's been pretty good. This is pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that you brought up that you're still doing work, because I was gonna say like you have been doing a lot of artwork. I would like that I've noticed for other artists right now. Because like yeah, you just perform, but you're also an incredible visual artist. And I saw the what's it called, the cover for the Archangel's new mix.
Mm-hmm.
You do Cardinality too? Oh, you did Charmaine's artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on, but yeah. How has that been, kind of focusing more on in that area rather than performing?
Well, I honestly like the most recent work I did was for Angel. And she asked me to do that a few weeks ago, and it was like really awesome. I haven't gotten to really exercise doing stuff, and then I'm working on a couple other things for a few other people right now. The other pieces of work that I was doing, oh Jesus Christ, sorry, that was the speaker. The other pieces of work that I've been doing, like the Cardinality, for example, and other things have been done over time in like the past year, and they're all like starting to come out now. So like the God Bless Bob Ross one I did like last year in the fall, and it's like I don't know, like it's nice. I recently like bought like a fuck ton of paint. It's been really nice to not have to orient myself to thinking about shows, because I used to do them so frequently pre quarantine, and I thought it was gonna really like dim something in me, but honestly, I really can't lie. I'm really glad for the big break. It's been nice to allocate my energy other places.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, it's not like you don't do those things at the same time too, but especially like now not having to have a different job, or yeah, outside of art, that's like three things already. And so now being able to focus on the graphic design part, it's been really great being able to see that all kind of come to fruition magically all around the same time.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of like sometimes it's like, when you're like just used to things that you're a part of or involved with, so it almost like, not that it doesn't phase you, it's just, like I don't know, like your attention spans,
Definitely.
But
at the same time, I think it's like that work comes, I mean, I don't want to say comes naturally to you, but it seems like you definitely have like an inclination to just be creating on your own.
Yeah, I would say so. It's been I'm sorry, I didn't know what to say.
No, it's fine. I have a tendency to like just kind of say statements and then be like, your move.
No, it's okay. Like, I mean, yeah, like I don't know. For me, creating is very much literally like survival. And because it's expression, it's like emoting. It's like putting things places. I feel like I like carry around like a hunk of junk of gunk, you know, a lot of emotional baggage and stuff, and it's I don't know, like a lot of times like the world ends up being my diary whether I like it or not. Um so that's fun, but like it's nice to have visual art kind of be a place where I can like really put all these like very turbulent and maybe like heavier emotions and it not necessarily like hold like the same weight as like me like using my words.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to, I don't know if you saw in the chat room, but Rory said one of candles exploded during Fred's set, which I think is a good sign.
Oh God, that
Like,
I honestly like my mouth scares me.
like literally.
Literally exploded. Oh God, yeah, my literally exploded.
I'm sorry, you told me to take the Jeep, and so I did.
It's okay. I was just the devil on your shoulder. I was like, get high.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's a devil and angel thing. It's because you like want, you need to feel good, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, no,
Also, because I'm like, I can just edit this out later.
Oh yeah, no, I just want you to have a fun time on this floating rock.
Disgusting.
But yeah, like I don't know, like this is the interview, right? This is the interview?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Do you have any other questions?
Sorry, that was so funny. Yeah, I'm recording this whole thing.
I thought that's what was going on. I just wanted to just check in and just make sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it doesn't have to be like, tell me your 5 darkest secrets, I mean, unless you want to go there, we can go there.
We really don't have to go there.
We don't have to go there. Do you know where I want to go, though?
Oh, man.
I think that we've had some contention over this, actually, between you and me,
talking
because
about
both of us
Marvel?
have a lot of feelings about Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra.
Okay, word. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna turn on the light for this. Actually, give me a second. Just start asking your questions.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I just I think about it a lot. Just like as a preface, I don't know if everybody here has watched Avatar: The Last Airbender or Legend of Korra, the animated show on Nickelodeon. We do not talk about the live action thing that happened.
We do not speak on it.
Yeah, that's
okay.
A travesty. Anyways, that being said, it's one of the greatest shows on earth.
Agreed.
And I think the main themes that popped out to me is how to deal with violence, honestly, and wartime, and it being a children's show, and that approach to it was interesting, but they explore so many different kinds of combating violence and
government
trying to save the world. I mean, it's all about imperialism. There's like the Fire Nation took over all of the other nations, and so there's like these like colonies and conscription and
genocide.
Okay.
So what about Avatar would you like to ask me? Where shall we take this conversation? It can go so many places.
I don't. That's true.
You on Twitter you were talking about. Excuse me, I didn't mean to talk over you. I was gonna say so you were talking about Chinese and Japanese imperialism, and I mean there's so many different ways to go at this. Because recently people have been making like a lot of parallels to like America, but to be in all honesty, there are no white people in Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, you know, we can really like get topsy turvy with it because it's a cartoon. You know, I personally like Korra, Legend of Korra, like a lot, like probably better, honestly.
Oh, that's a hot take.
It's a hot take. A lot of people don't fuck with Korra for some reason. I mean, on one hand, I understand why. On the other hand, I feel like a lot of the people who say that have very bad worldviews on women as main characters. You know,
Yeah.
not
Yeah, that
not
makes
everyone, because you know, Korra does a lot of things that I absolutely like deplore. That I just like, because you know, like she had a little bit like of like this like just this attitude that I just was like, you have to really like, you really have to get over it, dog. Like, this is it. This is it. This is it. I'm not saying at all times, but what I did love about Korra versus maybe Avatar: The Last Airbender, we kind of got to see our protagonist process trauma, and in like a very specific way, because like I think with Aang, it was like this like boy in like an iceberg, and it was like kind of like this fantastical thing, whereas with Korra, it was like this person who kind of without like their like consent became like a public figure, and then was just had a bunch of people who were dedicated to like ending her life or assassinating her, and she just kind of had to cope with that. Like, and I don't know, something about that really, like, I'm just like, what? Like, I don't even know what to take from it. I think it was just the way that they had this character like fight through all this, and then you had like the old character still like incorporated, and then like metal bending was like a whole like new thing, but like it was like different now. Even though Toph became a cop, which like made me feel some type of way, even though she was like kind of a corrupted cop. And then Aang died. I was like, fuck, you guys had to do that because she's like the next Avatar. So like, fuck. And then like Korra, and then they brought Katara, who I can talk about Katara for days. I can literally have so many problems with Katara, because she put an abolitionist in prison. You remember the Bloodbender?
Yeah.
The
Yeah, she
Bloodbender.
did.
She put a fucking she put one of the last surviving Southern Water Tribe waterbenders in prison because she was a bloodbender, and that is why we don't talk about Katara in my house. Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about the bloodbending, though. I mean, I feel like even in that show, there were like a lot of different directions, but it being a kid's show, when they first were talking about it, they were just like, this is incomprehensible and just don't do it. But it is interesting that you bring it up now, because I'm like thinking back on it, because I rewatched it recently and I totally was just like, wow, bloodbending sucks. But then I forgot about the part where she's doing it to like Fire Nation people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just, I mean, like, and it depends on what she's doing with people. Honestly, she was just locking people underground. And I mean, like, honestly, it was just like a war torn. Like, I honestly don't know what to think. I'm just like, I feel like we didn't have to throw her in prison.
That's true. I mean, there of all the people to throw in prison during that war, like for that.
She definitely died in there.
Oh, ooh. Do you remember that part in
Yeah, exactly.
Avatar: The Last Airbender, where Aang was just like, "Oh, I don't want to kill anybody. Like, I really am like about nonviolence."
Oh
but
my
then
god, I feel
like
like
killing
okay.
people all the time.
Oh my god.
He's just like, "I'm gonna shoot down this war balloon." Like, what does he think is gonna happen when it
see,
crashes?
and but this is plot convenience, and this is why I also fuck with Korra, because Korra had so many hypothetical on-screen deaths, which brought that little air of realism to it. I'm not saying that I'm not like a gore fan, but I just need that. You watch the Steven Universe movie?
Mm-mm.
Did anyone watch Steven Universe? Okay, it doesn't matter. Steven Universe whole time never had anything, but the Steven Universe movie, for the first time, they showed blood, and I was like, whoa. It was just that little bit of like, oh, you are human, that like made me like, wow. But like with Korra, they didn't show blood, but people definitely were just like kind of like, you know, like you're hurling rocks, like you're spitting fire, you're like basically waterboarding people by levitating water, like blasting people with air off buildings. Like someone's going to lose a life.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they definitely didn't shy away from that in Korra, because I mean that's part of, I think one of the things that was like part of the storyline is just like, oh wait, people are actually really gonna get hurt if like these things don't get resolved and like you don't deal with stuff. Like people are actually like like it has consequences.
Also, those antagonists in Korra were spitting, like they were saying, they were talking that shit. It was really wild. Like they like like okay, so of course these antagonists were out of balance, but you had people just like talking about like the first season of Korra, you had people who were non-benders talking about how they felt marginalized and felt like lower class citizens because of the fact that they were non-benders, which is like it's like, whoa, we should like examine that more. And they kind of just like quelled it, you know, like kind of just like quelled it. And they're just like, shut up, non-benders, and like kind of just like went back. You ever think about that?
No, but now I am.
I always
I
think
mean, if
about that.
anything, they kind of put down the non-benders as people who were just kind of like complaining.
Yeah, no, that they definitely did that. And then the leader of their revolution, Amon, ended up being like a waterbender. So they were all kind of like, well, fuck, like, what does this even mean now? And then we just never really like addressed like them as like a marginalized group ever.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's interesting seeing like the contrast between Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, being that like they're both, I mean, I think in Avatar: The Last Airbender, it was like an outright like world war, and that was like the context
Yeah.
of everything going on, as opposed to Legend of Korra, which was post-war and like rebuilding and the generation after that. Um so like it's, I mean, I think you said before like part about seeing like the technological advances is cool, and seeing who they grow up to be is interesting,
Yeah.
because like we see how they had to deal with violence and war in their youth, and then that informs who they become as adults. And that's like, I just thought that was really interesting.
Because
And it is
they ended up
yeah,
all just basically becoming cops. Like,
yeah. I mean, at the same time, at first they were, man, I'm sorry, I gotta mute you. Sorry. Just got whatever. Um, what the hell? Okay. Anyway, sorry. What was I saying?
we talked about how they were all basically like who they were during like war, and being war torn children informed who they became when they were older, which was just basically different versions of cops.
Yes, yes, you are right, because yeah, because they were technically kind of, I mean, they're like generals. They were generals in war. They were leading militaries, you know,
And then like their
and so we're just
children,
like,
and then their children just ended up becoming different versions of cops. Like,
exactly. I mean, they're also, I mean, Toph was also like a military general, so like literally straight up just like really up there,
she was
and they all just
literally
kind
the
of stayed
chief
up
of
there.
police. She was literally the chief of police. Like she founded like Republic City Police like department.
Great, wonderful.
Yes. And they're
Oh
all
my
metal
God.
benders. They all bend metal. Like that's like OP as fuck. Like
That's true. That is really cool. If anything, they have like, I don't know, the types of like machinery that they have is really cool too. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I think it's okay, let me draw a parallel between back to like Korea, Japan,
okay,
and China.
please.
So I think I saw like the parallel between um in Avatar: The Last Airbender, it seemed like it was like, in my interpretation is China and Japan's like co-imperialization of smaller colonies. So Japan, or like China taking over
I'm
Japan, but
Filipino,
also
by
like
the way,
Korea.
so I feel it.
Oh yeah, totally. There's even a part where Korea's tiny like history was kind of included in there. There was one Korean character in one episode for about 5 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. I think her name was like Song. So she was like in one of the Earthbender colonies. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like native, like Earthbenders or Koreans are Earthbenders.
Yeah.
And then Firebenders. I've heard different opinions on whether they're supposed to represent the Japanese or the Chinese. I don't know if you lean in either direction for that.
I mean, I was told it was supposed to lay parallel to the Chinese, but I wouldn't know better.
Okay. Yeah, and then airbenders, I'm trying to remember where airbenders, because I remember waterbenders, they're based on like native like Inuit and like Eskimo people up in like the north and south.
My favorite was the swamp benders.
The swamp benders were
Just brown,
so good.
just brown skin, like just like cousins of like Southern Water tribe, just like in a swamp. I was just like, that is
Oh my
so.
gosh, they're like
I
southern accents for some reason.
Yeah, no, I listen. I loved it so much. Like it made me so happy. Like I don't know why like things like that made me like super like, oh,
Oh my God, no, I mean it's sick. I think of like, yeah, like who else had like swamps? Korea did. They're also in the earth, but I don't know. Okay, anyway, so there's like, so there's that parallel between so like there's like the actual world war where there is like America, Japan, China, Russia, um kind of on that tail end of World War II, but then also Japan's colonization or imperialization of Korea, and we see that as the 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 one Korean character being a part of the earthbending community,
yeah,
which I think traditionally seen as the Japanese.
yeah,
Yeah. So
okay.
it's like I'm not sure about that one
They
because
did
it's
like
like
a
there's
very
so many.
they did a, like they did like have very specific cultural indicators, but it ended up really like blending like at
Yeah,
the
because
end of
they
it.
drew from a lot of different like cultures. Because I think something that I like that they did was explore like different like regions and like dialects and like
I
you know
think that
communities.
I don't I think it was tasteful, honestly.
Yeah,
Would you
yeah,
say?
I think so. Especially because like they know it's a fictional show, um, so it's like kind of trying to pay homage to like the real things that exist, but then also making it just like have the parallel of just like we know this is made up.
Yeah, definitely. And I think maybe that's why like I really like how Korra furthered that, where it
Yeah.
was like, okay, now we're gonna talk about like individualism a little bit, but like in like a context of like who are you in regards to like the people around you, and who are you like in like regards to like your society, and like maybe like differing ideologies in the face of that society, which I really fuck with.
Mhm.
Like, did you watch all of Korra?
Yeah, I watched up until the gay moment.
The game
Was
moment
that
was
the end
it.
of it?
That was it.
Oh, that was it.
If you're not counting the comic books
I'm not counting the comic books, no.
where they
What is
have their canon kiss.
wow,
Yeah,
interesting.
which is stupid
Mhm.
because they didn't just fucking kiss at the end of the book 4, but Aang and Katara could kiss,
Yeah,
which
interesting.
bothers me. But
Mhm.
you know, it's a we don't have to go there either. You know what I'm saying? We could go
Yeah.
any.
No,
We
no,
could.
no, no. There's so much about it. No, but like it's like interesting seeing like the post industri or like the industrialization of like in like the world of like Legend of Korra, because that's exactly what happened in Japan and Korea as well, is like that industrial revolution or whatever. And then it's like like democratization of Korea, I would say, from the US as like one like defiance of Japan and also the defiance of Chinese communism, and kind of taking that like isolationist perspective other than like the military control from the US. I forgot where I was going with this. I just get really
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. We were talking about you're talking about industrialism and how that was like furthered in Korra, like.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So they show that. They show how like the military industrial complex from like the scarcity mindset of like war and famine in um and like hoarding of wealth in Avatar the Last Airbender, and then they see like the trying to like rebuild from that and all the kinds of like societal problems that come from that as
And then
well.
they
It's
have
like
that weird like Republic City thing that was like supposed to be like basically like New York in the middle of like you know like all of this shit, and it was just like I don't know, there were so many problems in that, but like I don't know, like so if you saw the gay moment and then book 3, Zahir, who became an airbender, killed the Earth Queen. Do you
mm,
remember that?
yes.
He killed the Earth Queen, and then in book 4, Kuvira took over, and that was the antagonist of book 4, and I just thought that like her being like the last antagonist like wasn't like, I'm not gonna say it wasn't high stakes because she was just kind of like just like a dictator, versus like I don't know like book 2 you had her uncle Unalak trying to be like basically like the devil, you know, like I don't know, like, and was talking about like the spirit world and shit. I don't know, and like I don't know, like they was just like talked about so many like different things. It like they just like took like what was like in like the last Airbender and like were able to just like section it off, and like you could like really like zoom in on certain things that they like lightly touched upon. I like, that's my favorite thing about like what cartoons can do, I think.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely do a lot of like, I love the attention to detail they put into like the world bending or world building. There we go.
Yeah.
The world
World
building
bending.
aspect of it. I want a world bend so bad.
Me world bend.
Say that 5 times fast. World bend, world bend. Okay.
World bend, world. Oh fuck, never mind. Sorry.
But yeah, no, I mean, there's just like, I just freaking love that show. It's so good. Do you think
Yeah.
you'll ever make any oh sorry, what was that?
No, what are you gonna say?
Do you think you'll ever make any Avatar: The Last Airbender or Korra inspired art? Are
I
you gonna become one of those like people who do like the fan art?
I have been thinking about making fan art for it, but I'm like, I'm always like I have to get better. But yeah, so maybe when I figure out what it is I want to do, because I've been thinking about it. I've worked on like a couple fan art pieces like Pokemon, Naruto, like very like basic shit. Like, but I would really, because like it's not really like my thing. A lot of like what I do is like self portraits, but I really want to start like drawing things that I like. So like really just like specific niche like little like hobby things, you know, such as like the cartoons I watch. I'd be into it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think memes are undervalued in society, and I think that your creation of memes kind of puts those things together of like being like creative and like witty, but also like utilizing like animation and drawing and like combining that with like a one pane storyline kind of thing or like 2 pane storyline type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I brought up earlier, you just kind of naturally having that inclination to be creating all the time.
Yeah, I feel like I just love um I love reacting and I love interacting with things. I mean, boundaries are super important, but like I really like to just like, even like if I'm by myself, like I will like put up my iPad and like take videos of like me moving to see like how I can like think about how I move in the future, like if I'm like dancing or something. I don't know. Like I've always been like that. Like it's been like a I don't know. And I feel like that's what really got me into like recording music, is because like you can like play with so many parts. It's a little, and I feel like it's like a little bit different than like drawing in a way, because like it feels like you're like collaging things almost. Like for me, like playing with vocals and stuff, even before like I really knew how to record, like I was using like that stupid like fucking the laptop microphone, and then like trying to like record my vocals on like Windows Movie Maker, and then like trying to like chop it all together and like make a song, like, and it would just like never work, but she'd be like, oh, I did it, you know, I tried it. Like I don't know, I think like things like that, just having the itch to like want to try to like just play with what I could, has like brought me to like so many avenues of like wanting to like keep creating. And I feel like I kind of like stopped a little bit. Like I feel like I was like, all right, this is it, all I do is like rap, and then all I do is like sometimes draw. But like I don't know, I need to use like my hands. And I realized that like, you know, like I have this like thing where I like think I don't like social media, but like I like the aspect of what it feels like to blog a little bit. So I like mood boards and shit. I don't know, I still don't know how to figure that demon, the internet, out yet, but like I want to keep finding ways to keep to keep creating. Yeah. I think right now I'm trying to really like get my dancing back together, because I just like miss like feeling like I can like feeling like I am comfortable moving in like spaces.
Yeah, definitely. Especially being home so much and not being able to like go out and dance. I feel like, and also being in front of a screen where you can actually look back at yourself, it's definitely affected the ways that I honestly think about how I dance and move.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, something about like, I feel like that's like a thing that I really like love doing is like, and I think it's like comforting to know that that's like it's like for me is like what I'm like, you know, like capturing like moments of myself, like because especially like during quarantine, like finding time to capture moments of myself doing the things that I love, and then just like thinking about like what do I like about it, like what would I want to improve, and then just getting to overall just like see that, like I don't know, like it feels like fulfilling. I feel like I've gotten like a lot of fulfillment giving a lot of my art back to myself versus like performing for like people at like shows, and that's honestly been like really comforting, you know, like because like having to interact with people kind of like, I don't know, makes you it like sometimes confuses me as to why I'm doing the things I do, because you know validation is cool, you know, but I just want to make sure that like I'm still like intact with um why I'm doing this, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think as two people who have platforms, it's interesting the ways that our feelings and thoughts will get amplified in certain ways, depending on like how they're shared or like who's listening, or you know, even the ways that you say them and whatnot. But that's also dependent on, honestly, like branding. Like who are you
Yeah.
known for from people who don't know you at all?
Yeah. And I don't know, that's terrifying, you know. Like because sometimes I just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't really like, I feel like I just figured out who I am. I feel like I just figured out like where I want to go and like my trajectory. And so it's really hard. It's really hard to think about like things like platform and things like access and connection, because I mean they're real, you know, like I would never deny that, but I don't know. It's been a journey figuring that out, but I think also like what am I trying to say? You're talking about that. So sorry, I got lost. Where
It's
you
fine. I
go?
can't help you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Like I'm just along for the ride.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, it's like that's like it's like kind of weird because I just like don't I'm still figuring out like what it is I want to do and what it is like my like, because like this isn't like the goal, like rapping isn't the goal, you know, like this is a tool of many that I have that help me communicate myself and share myself. And I think that, and like kind of like what I said before, like whereas like, you know, I think maybe recently I just realized that like I really like, for me, art, a part of my process of making art is kind of like sharing like a bit of a diary with like others, which is a tricky tango to tangle with, but you know, it's how I get along on the planet.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, things would be easier if people didn't perceive.
Yeah. Yeah. I just like wish I could just be like, hey, this is it. Please look at it like this, from this as this. And like, and but please, please, I beg. But you know, it's cool. I I have to, and that's kind of like why I go back to the whole like record myself like shaking my ass on my iPad, is because I do it for me, you know. But
Mhm.
it's I don't know, it's fun to share. It's fun to share the fire. Sharing the fire does good for the people around you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm personally glad that that's something. I'm just grateful for all that you do, and the fact that you do it for yourself. It's just good. It's a good
Yeah,
thing.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah, definitely. And I thought it was interesting the way that you said it's like a tool, and like one of many to like lead to something greater than that. What do you
Yeah.
think is, do you have any like, what do you think that is?
I mean, like, I don't know, like at some point I want to like be able to go back to like some type of um like I want to be able to like figure out how I can incorporate like, visual art, like music, and like I don't know, like art therapy. I really want to like teach people at some point. I have like a lot of things that I want to do. I want to voice act. Um uh, I really want to take out a couple art museums, and like,
Are we
and
allowed to
just like
talk about that?
repurpose them for like
Yeah.
the community and shit.
Mhm.
So I don't know, but these are all like very lofty goals. I still like I aspire to do like a lot, but I think for a long time rapping and maybe drawing were like just the some of the only ways I knew how to like escape like a lot of like um bizarre situations, and ended up becoming a part of my lifestyle and ended up becoming a part of just what I do, and it's like brought me to like meet a lot of great people and a lot of like people like genuinely like great people, like, so I don't know, I'm trusting it.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I have three more questions. Is that
Okay.
okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The first question is one that I just forgot. Oh no, I remember. Okay. The first question is, um, if you could give like a piece of advice to yourself from like 5 years ago, or to your past self from 5 years ago, what would it be?
5 years ago.
Yes?
Okay.
Maybe 10 years ago? I don't know. Up to you. Past self.
Past self. Okay. Advice. I would say really, really, really don't sweat the eyes that are on you. You have to keep looking forward. Um, you will find the people that are like you, and it'll always I don't know, at least to myself, I would say to yeah, not worry too much about the eyes that are on you. I feel like a lot of times I am I don't know. It's like hard to like want to. It's like hard to like want to share what you're doing and then be like, this is my thing, and then also be like, oh wait, but like, what are people gonna think of? Like, it's like like it's like, do you want it or do you not? So I think that's what I would say to myself.
Sweet. Um, so then kind of since we were just talking about like past self,
Yeah.
now I kind of want to switch to the future. What's something that you want to see in the future or want to stick around?
Um,
And again, this doesn't have to be rooted in reality, but yeah.
it'd help me answer, I think. I would really, really like for the communities that surround me to like, not only myself included, to like step up to like the occasion of like being able to like look out for each other, not only like in terms of like showing up for people like on like a, oh, like checking in, but like actually like, like do we have the resources to help support each other so that we can actually like sustain and pass around said fire that I speak about before. I hope that, I think that people have done that. I would like to see more of it in the future, and I would like to see it with intention, and I would like to see it done carefully, and I would like to see, like Black people at the forefront. I would like to see like, trans people at the forefront of that. Like I like feel like so much of like my queer friends and family like are like geniuses, and I want to make sure that like that is that is like a fucking thing. in the future, like indefinitely, undeniably, to like the people that surround us.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, we are creating the future.
Yeah.
Whether I mean, I think like I have like such like a long-term mindset that I'm just like, regardless of what we think of it now, like in like 10 years, our work is gonna be there and people will have been impacted by it, whether they know it or not,
Yeah.
whether we know it or not.
And that's kind of how I feel. And that's sort of why I like, to the past self question, it's like, don't sweat the eyes on you, is kind of like, you know, like, I don't know, like, I feel like so often, I, when I was younger, I would catch myself getting in these like toughies of like, oh, I'm not getting like my recognition, I'm not getting like my, and you know, like, I don't know, like, I I think too often I let those feelings discredit the what I've done for the people that I love and for the people I care about. And I think often people let that stop them from seeing what they've done for the people they love and the people they care about.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not saying it's easy to get past that shit. It's like really hard, but like, you know, like it's a thing I need to work on.
Yeah, I mean, that's real.
Yeah.
I have one more question for you, which is, how can we support you right now?
Okay, well, currently I am doing a thing called VMFA reform. I recently got laid off from my job at a museum. Long story short, work conditions were kind of fucked before COVID. They were trying to have us come back in the middle of a pandemic to work in a museum. I started talking about it with like higher ups at HR. Then my coworkers started talking about the higher ups in HR, and then we talked about it on social media. Long story short, we had a couple meetings, a couple conversations with empty promises, and then out of nowhere, they fired like 30 of us for what they say is COVID, but for what looks like, you know, like, like people like to like cover shit up and like make it weird. It's a fucking museum. If you want to like stay tapped into what we're doing with that, where we have like things like planned, the VMFA for like a long time has had a cycle of just kind of like fucking its like workers over, people like who are like loyal to like that place and people who have like fucking families. So I don't know, stay tapped into like that. I feel like that's where a lot of my energy has been going. And make sure that you donate to tonight, and make sure you tune into like the next show. Yeah.
I'm just gonna go and just put the vavp.org/donate link over there. But I also put VMFA reform on the side as well, because they're on different forms of social media, and there's continual updates on that. So I appreciate you being part of that team.
It's
that
hard
keeps us
because
all
like
informed.
a lot of white women co-opt that, because a lot of white women work at the museum. So I'm like trying to like just like be there and just like, I don't know, because I really want to see this museum fucking like go down. Like I really like, and it's possible because they're like, people are like already like sweating, and I just like feel like I just want to keep people in the know, because we're going to have things like where we like have articles that come out, or like we like do phone zaps where we're going to have people call like different heads of like the department, and like we also have like a lot of like archived information that we're going to be like leaking slowly over time, like when appropriate. So you know what I mean? So just stay tuned in.
Yeah, no, it's really great to hear like a lot of like organizing surrounding that, because I mean, we're all in the art community, we're actively doing it right now. So I mean, that is like a direct action.
My most
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. I would hope to gut the place out, and we could all like, I don't know, fucking have a party there. I don't fucking know.
I mean, yeah, that sounds great.
Type beat.
I'm down.
Type beat.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you'd like want to say or add?
No. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, and thank you, Grim. I really appreciate you guys. And thank you, Jackie. This is really cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us about your experiences and talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, and for just like holding me to the conversation and making sure that I can keep a good sentence going. Yeah, and thank you, Jackie, for being here too, and for sharing as well, and for everyone who's here right now. Just want to close out by saying this has been Grim Year Wednesdays, presented by Quiet Year and Grimalkin Records. The artists are getting paid, but we would like you to donate to Virginia Anti-Violence Project, which does a lot of great work in Virginia. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.